adjustments are where they need to be. My phone always wants to default to not being as bright as it can be. Troublemaker. All right. So what we're going to work on today, what I think we're going to work on today, is we're going to go ahead and black base these tank crew, the British tank crew. And then we're going to go ahead and this guy too. We might as well black base the Hoffman. And then we will work on these stands of these Jerrys that are working on retrofitting them. Let's clean up any flash that these guys may have. This guy almost looks like he's got some kind of pain or something like that. Now, all of these guys should have magnets on the bottom of them, so I'm going to go ahead and grab them. I think I know where the magnets are. If I can't find them, then I can always do that later. I think I saw some. I saw two here. I don't know why they're loose. I really don't know what's going on. Three. There's three of them here. Well, we'll wait for people to come up. I got something interesting to talk about. It's not controversial. It might just be something that may interest some of you. I'm sure that lots of people actually have a comment on this. But there's no point in talking about it now before there's anybody here. Now, where are my, oh, you know what? All my Litco bases are outside. Mr. Ben. Oh, I can bring it up now that you're here. Let me go get my Litco stands, and I'll be right back, and I'll talk about the movie that I watched last night and finished this morning. And I'm going to see if you can guess what it is. Be right back in just one moment. That's the easiest thing I've ever had to go to the garage and get, ever. And I actually don't need it for the Litco stands because, you know, these are going to be in dormant for a while. But I'm pretty sure these Litco magnet things are in here. Where else would they be? These Litco stuff. And I may not have enough. I may have to order. No, don't order for freaking Litco anymore. Why would they be here? No. Okay, well, that's not going to hold me up. I got another clutter thing in here. I'm going to write myself a note. My shopping list. Need to get the circles. Where's my notebook I got to keep handy here for you guys when you give me suggestions for stuff. So I finally got around to seeing a movie that has been recommended to me for a watch probably for 40 years. It is a movie that has been recommended to me at least a dozen times, maybe more. People are surprised I've never seen it. It is a black and white movie. It shouldn't have been a black and white movie because of the time period that it came out, lots of movies were already in color. Don't guess yet. You should be able to guess it with these things. You know, based on when the movie came out, you know, it should have been. I mean, any movie that from like the mid 50s onward should be color. Sorry, you know. But I stuck through it. And I'm watching this and I'm going, I must have seen this movie I waited way too long to see this movie because I found it very the Zapruder film. Now you're gonna make me look at Debbie Does Dallas. Is that black and white? Litgo Rounds. And I had an impression that it was going to be a lot better than it was. I thought it was actually pretty poor. I thought it was maybe 2 stars, maybe even less than that. And I'm going to catch hell. I disliked it so much. The Zapruder film is a JFK video. No, it wasn't that. I'm going to catch hell because lots of people like this movie. But when I was done watching it, I'm like, I should watch Kelly's Heroes just to get the bad taste out of my mouth. No, it wasn't that it was that. It was long-winded and it like went nowhere. And it's a movie that everybody has something is a very popular movie. And I'm never going to watch it again. And I'm glad I didn't watch it with my daughter. It might actually have been a movie that I would have been tempted to watch with my daughter. It wasn't inappropriate or anything. It was just like boring as shit. You got to be careful suggesting movies that suck to your daughter. Then she won't trust you. I'm like, I'm not going to watch that. You got bad taste or, you got to lead me astray or something like that. So what movie is it? Dr. Strangelove. I thought it sucked. It went nowhere. It went nowhere. And that's one of those movies that everybody has something good to say about it. And I'm like, maybe they smoked that stuff I've never smoked. I question stuff like that. You can't take some people's opinions. It's like Pink Floyd. I don't care for Pink Floyd. Why? I didn't do the slow drugs. I didn't do the fast drugs either. Well, unless you consider caffeine a fast drug. I don't care that movies are old. I just, and the fact that it was black and white didn't bug me so much. It was just super grainy. It's 1963, right? So, there's lots of stuff that... I mean, Rear Windows in color, and that's 1954. Anyhow, everybody loved that movie for whatever reason. I finally got around to seeing it. I was just surfing around. I'm like, oh, all right, I'll start watching it. Find a lot of those vaunted films are really carried by a handful of good scenes, and the rest is middling. Yeah, I didn't think it was very good at all. So that brings me to my conclusion. I don't like Kubrick. I don't. I have seen, this is like the 4th film of Kubrick's that I've watched, and I don't like him. His style, his filming style is a little bit different, but I've seen Spartacus. I saw Spartacus not that long ago. Meaning within the last 10 years for the first time. I wasn't impressed by it. 2001, right? That's Kubrick. I think you got to remember, okay, which movies have really fucked up filming? You know, like you have this big scene, and there's like this one tiny little fucking thing happening in a corner. You know, it's like not focused on it. That's his weird type of thing. Um, there was one like 20 years ago or 15 years ago. I decided to talk myself into watching. What's the one with Tom Cruise and his ex-wife? And I was waiting for something to happen. Eyes wide shut. I was sitting up the edge of my seat, expecting something like really twisted or something. And I remember it being like not that twisted. Um, Although I don't remember much about it. I thought it was going to be something a little bit more controversial or something. I don't know. So yeah, I don't like Kubrick. I can't like everybody. So there's another one that now this it might have been one of those movies that if I would have seen it when I was 14 years old, I might have appreciated it. And then rewatching it, you have some nostalgia to it. Like if I watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail for the first, well, that's a bad example because I like those guys, but I don't know. But people have been telling me to watch that movie for decades, and I finally got around to watching it. There was a lot of like awkward pause type dialogue type stuff. I thought George C. Scott actually did a really good job being animated and stuff. But it was kind of annoying that they made fun of everybody's name and the characters. And, I don't know. Not my shtick. Peter Sellers plays what, three different guys in it? He should have been funnier. Peter Sellers is a funny guy. Wasn't funny in that movie. Well, I was thinking, which one of these is, which one of those characters uses Peter Sellers' real nose? Because he's playing like the RAF guy, and he's got like this prosthetic nose. It's got to be because it's like it just really, it's interesting. Anyhow, well, we'll chalk that one up to we don't have to watch that again. Well, somebody says that's an old movie. I don't know that I think of early '60s as an old movie. I'm thinking of an old movie when there was like there was like only black and white. Period. Like movies from the '20s and Gary Cooper and stuff like that. All those kind of Cagney, all those kind of old movies that I really haven't seen. Other than Wizard of Oz, which everybody's seen it. What's that, 1938, 1939? The oldest movie I've seen that I can think of is probably Maltese Falcon. Nah, there's probably something Maltese Falcon I think is 41 or 44. One of those. I've seen something older than that, but it's just like, there's just other stuff to watch. I think my wife would do okay with those old movies, but she didn't want to watch them. So I thought it'd be an opportunity to watch some of those old movies. Be one of them, do stuff that old people do, like go to one of those movie clubs of classic movies. It's like, oh no, I don't think that they're happy. Well, most of those movies back then aren't like stressful. You know. Have you ever watched Four Feathers? Not the original one. I watched the second one. The one that was made in '99, something like that. 97, 98, 99. Gunga Din. Gunga Din is 1939. That's a movie that's ruined by it being black and white. That would be so much of a better movie in color. Um, I haven't seen that many black and white movies. Maltese Falcon, the Strangelove one that I just saw. Um, this one that we're just this Gunga Din. What else have I seen that's black and white? Is Casablanca black and white? I guess it is. I almost watched Sahara, but I don't like Bogart. I don't like people that are New Yorkie, and he's New Yorkie, and New York's not America. You know, it's like I wouldn't want to listen to somebody who talks like Elmer Fudd the whole time. You know, I wonder if the same people that like Elmer Fudd like Porky Pig. Those are two annoying characters. Not a fan of stutterers. Sorry if you guys stutter. What else have I seen that's black and white? I don't know. I can't think of it. It's not very many more things than that, though. Oh, of course, Schindler's List. Another movie ruined by being black and white. Ruined. Not ruined, but the effect. The effect of that fuckery is severely reduced by it being black and white. And if you're going to make a movie about the, if you're going to make a movie about the, God, what's it called? The final solution. That's not what I wanted to call it, but yeah, you need to make that vivid so you don't forget that crap. I've only seen that movie one time. I remember watching the movie though, and there's this one scene towards the end of the movie where Schindler is trying to. Remember, I've only seen it one time, so if I get the details wrong, don't stone me yet. He's trying to keep. He's trying to, save people by having them work in his factory and them not get hauled away off to the death camps. And he goes and this guy comes and wants to take the people from him. And he says, "See these little hands? I need them to polish 45 millimeter rounds." And I'm like, really? You're making ammunition for the Russians? Because the Germans never made 45 millimeter ammo. Just saying. Found a big error in a book I'm reading right now. Big error. And it's talking about it's Bill O'Reilly's book on the. I'm towards the very end of Killing the Rising Sun, and it's talking about the Soviets that attacked Manchuria in 1945. And they said about 1,000 tanks, including no, they had a bunch of tanks, including 1,000 Tigers, and 500 Shermans. No, no, the Soviets did not use those things. Yeah, they might have captured one, but why would they want to? They're mechanical hell. So, get your head out of your ass, Bill. I don't mind his books. I just don't like them narrated by him because there's one that he narrated the one that was like killing Patton, and he's talking about artillery, and he says, "Yeah, the 155 mm round." I'm like, "Wow, you really don't know anything about combat, do you?" If you don't know to pronounce that 155 millimeter, then you don't need to be reading combat stuff. But yep, I even read it. Well, this is what Tiger Tank. What big error. First of all, there weren't that many of them around at the end of the war to begin with. Sin City. I started watching Sin City. Didn't like it. Who's that guy? Frank. He's the guy that did 300, isn't it? Surprisingly, I actually like 300. But that's because I justified it. It's like, okay, this isn't what really happened, but this is what the guy that escaped went and told everybody back at Sparta what happened. And they're imagining it. So once I rationalized that, I was okay with it. I was okay with it being outlandish. Like what does Xerxes guy look like, right? Or is it Darius? I forget which one he is. But anyways, what's he look like? Oh, he's effeminate, and he had this, and he had the, so they picture this, you know, phenomenal looking guy. Here's the Hoffman figure. I guess I'll have to do a Waddington. You don't get to be a German though, Ben. Sorry. You should be one of those bastards with the Waddington looks like somebody that's got one of those obnoxious mustaches. One that's so big. I got a couple of those guys. I got a couple of those guys with the big old mustache. I say, old chap. Ben, do you have a funny colloquial accent, or do you speak RP? North Africa, I need a Bedouin guide, Ali Ben Wadi. Help me find the Wadi, Ali Ben Wadi. Proper Northern English accent. Is is the Northern English accent a proper one? Like, who do you sound like? Would that be like Northern? Would that be like Sean Bean? He has a Northern. What's his Yorkshire? I don't think I have an accent. I just have fucking generic sound in person. But I'm morph, so there's places I'm not allowed to go visit. A bit. But over this way, we pronounce our R's harder. Who's this guy? I'm like, this guy looked like a German dude. No, no, he just has that SS look about him with his face. Anglo American. You know who else is Anglo? Wasn't Richard Dawson Anglo American, or was he? I think he was Anglo American. There's several people that are Anglo American that you're like, oh, I didn't know that. I feel like somebody else is famous as Anglo American. Churchill. Yeah, but he didn't sound like there was any Anglo in him. I'm sorry, like there was any American in him. Was his drinking problem the American part? I don't know. I have a hard time figuring out whether or not there's a lot of people that drink here or not. There's a lot of people that don't, and it's kind of weird, I mean, only because like I behave better when I drink. So like, why wouldn't I want to drink? I'm a lot happier, and that's how it should work. But maybe there's something that everybody ingests that puts them in a bad mood. For me, it's sugar. Sugar puts me in a bad mood. Like, if I serve myself ice cream and then the next thing I know, I need ice cream again, like, I can't I can't have too many bowls of it, and it just puts me in a bad mood. That sip of spicy tequila on Saturday night made me jovial. Yeah, vitamin T, baby. I like tequila. I like most anything, except beer that has no taste to it or that's super hoppy, or cheap tasting liquor. And by cheap tasting, like Crown. I don't like the way Crown tastes. I could drink it if I had to, but it's not my preference. Jim Beam? Oh no. Captain Morgan? Oh, God help me. No. All right, we need to do the basing on these guys, and we get, of course, good old chocolate brown. Nope, that's flat ass Earth. That's a flat earther. All right, this is the base color for these Jerry's. Oh, these are the super readers. Well, let's see if I can get away with this, or I need to take the contacts out. Yeah, this guy's good to go. That guy's good to go. We just need to put Tufts on him. So's Larson. This is Keller. Helen Keller. My wife does not allow me to say, well, she doesn't allow me. She doesn't like it when I make Helen Keller jokes, which is not very funny. Which is not very often because I'm not 8 years old anymore. That was a big thing in the early 80s. I think they made everybody watch a Helen Keller movie. And, 9, 10, 11-year-olds don't want to watch a Helen Keller movie. And I didn't pause it, but I think there was one scene in Doctor Strangelove where the paratroopers come to attack the airfield, and one of the footage I think showed it, one of the paratroopers shooting an MP40. I didn't go back and revisit it because it was like late, but I think it did. Let's see if I can paint this without going onto the paper. That way I don't have to reset this. Don't have to reprint it. And if I can get this done today, I'm happy. And the only reason I'm finishing these guys up is because I'd already put the goop on them. Oh, so the MP40 is in there? Yeah. I always liked the look of that weapon, but I don't know that it was a very good weapon. It's fully automatic only, so you can't squeeze off. Well, the only way you can squeeze off one round is you load one round into the magazine. Mills bombs. Fryman. Or is it Freeman? I feel like it should be. I feel like it should be Fryman. It's the guy that works at McDonald's with a basket of fries. Who am I kidding? Nobody works at McDonald's anymore. So what else is new and exciting? One day closer to the weekend. Yeah, that's a good website, the International Movie Firearms Database. Wait, you guys don't get reported in the UK for looking at a firearms website, do you? You don't get carted off like, this chap's got a problem. You guys were allowed to have firearms before World War II, right? Like in the 30s, you could have guns, right? I knew you couldn't have like a freaking machine gun, but like a pistol, semi-automatic pistol. Anyways, we can still have firearms now. There's just a few loops to go through. Well, I think any of those people that are ex-military, they should be able to. That's not cool to have them like Oh, we're going to defend England, but like when you leave, oh, well, you can now you can't be trusted. What do you mean? Especially when the real crazy people were the ones running the government, and I mean everybody's government. When I went to college, which I don't think was that long ago, but I guess it is, there was I remember there was pickup trucks with gun racks, and people had the shotguns in the gun racks, and nobody went and messed with it. Like a shotgun's not very exciting, and I just don't remember it being a problem. Early '90s. I heard the place that is the easiest to get firearms legally in Europe is Czechia, or whatever the hell it's called now, or Czech Republic. 6 a long time because the way these were based is the base was painted green, and then I just dipped it in the woodland scenic flock, and I tried to scrape up as much as that I could, but still there's parts where the top of this is foamy, so I've got to cover it. It's like I'm trying to paint over a sponge. But I didn't want to spend an inordinate amount of time trying to clean this stuff off of the figure. Yeah. In France, the Chechens somehow smuggle them in, and they are allegedly very easy to get, albeit not legally. Yeah, well, I'm not interested in doing anything illegal. You know, I mean, if I'm gonna do something illegal, I'm gonna set myself up so I don't have to work again. Like one heist that I'm done, but just constantly like living in a threat of like, I wonder if people know that I have that. Yeah, I just don't live my life that way. The Chechens. There's that many Chechens in France. Okay, this guy is, who's he? Engelman. No, he's your people. Engelman. England man. Yeah, yeah. Black bread. That's what these guys would eat all the time. Black bread. Which I'm not really sure what that is. Is that like bread that burned, or is it just like super rough, not refined, unleavened to the max? I may be getting a phone call, in which case I got to sign out, but hasn't happened yet. I don't think I'm going to be able to paint the tank crew today. We got to let that stuff set. And these are figures I already had painted, just redoing their basing so they look reasonable. Brant. A little bit of moisture here. You planning on leaking scenarios, keeping the rosters ticking over and bringing in replacements for the dead? No. No, um, there's another set of rules that I found out after I had this one. And it's called Final Combat. And it's more like a role playing game. It's super detailed. And they actually make scenario books for that. And I picked up one of them that was kind of like a solitaire campaign. And it's you basically play an American squad and the scenarios are linked. But it starts off with like Omaha. So it's like a lot of scenarios that, like, I don't want to do a beach landing, you know, a lot of stuff that's just not really interesting. We way to replace the DBA records. Each named character is Little Wartime. I don't know. I don't know that I want to back myself into that corner. And then you got guys that are like, want to get somebody killed, so they get them killed off. You know. I don't know how many times Mitch has played DBA without me, but I guarantee he's not keeping records of his stuff. So whatever he remembers is just false. It was just part of the entertainment. As a matter of fact, the chits for the tank crewman, it'll say like my Panther, that's Panther 215. It'll be loader Panther 215. I'm not going to assign that to a specific name so that the tank crewman can be different folks name wise. Can't really do scenarios at this point until we've got some stuff built up, and then we can use it from side to side, from scenario to scenario. Okay, so that has to dry. These two are done. Oh, I got two other guys that I moved up here. They also need their bases done. Bloom and Bear. Might as well paint them up. Wins counted on the left toes, losses on the right. Explains the lack of shoes. Yeah. Well, I'm not wearing shoes right now, but I'm inside my house. I'm not in a shed outside of my house that I have to walk through the outside to get to it. Like I don't wear shoes inside my house, but I also don't have any pets. It just keeps the dirt, and I mean, you're gonna get dust and shit anywhere inside the house. No point in making. I work at a really dusty place, so I wouldn't bring my work shoes in here anyways. And we don't have carpet either. But yeah, the not wearing shoes isn't awkward. It's just awkward that, like, you're outside and you're not wearing shoes. Like, I don't know. Different things. Different people have different things. Can't go barefoot though. You end up turning people on. People will be turned on. I don't know why people think that bare feet is just such a exotic thing. Like, come on, man. You could, like, go to the beach, man. Certainly not Mitch's feet. It's a dude, for God's sakes. And that stuff is just, oh, here we go. We're going down a rabbit hole. That stuff is only weird if that stuff turns you on and you don't see the rest of the person. Like if you see somebody who's, like attractive and she has attractive feet, yeah, I mean, it all kind of goes together, right? But not like, I don't want to see her face. She could be like, ugly in the face, but you still like her feet. It's just like, that's kind of weird, man, Face is the most important thing because if you got an ugly face, it's hard to look at somebody and have a conversation with them. Maybe he can pick up your maze with his feet to outdo the guy you saw at Historicon fat fingering a squad. It wasn't a Historicon, it was at one of our shows, but yeah, no. No, nobody's feet are coming near my miniatures. And they got some of those strange people that like can shoot like a bow and arrow with their feet and stuff like that. I'm like, you need to work on your painting skills before you're shooting bows and arrows with your feet. You're a couple thousand years late to the bow and arrow show. We've moved past that. We're well into the boom boom stick period now. Yeah, that's one of the other reasons. One of the many reasons not to put on a show not to put on a game at a show. The biggest reason is because just time constraints. But then like, oh, this guy signed up for playing a game. I'm like, you're not touching my shit. Where's the weirdest place you've seen somebody barefoot? I've seen people like pumping gas barefoot. Like this always spilled petrol at a gas station. Period. Like that's gonna burn your feet. At best case scenario. Or going into a convenience store. I don't like even going into a convenience store fully dressed. Well, most people do okay with the miniatures, but usually people that have their own miniatures do okay. Fat fingered. No, I think the terminology I use is ham fisted. Just like I crush him. Like no. Got this guy calling in for off-board artillery. Freaking radio star. Video killed the radio star. This guy right here. You're welcome for letting me that song get stuck in your head now. Have you seen the artillery marker as a tactical painter made on his blog? No, but I'm going to look that up. His name is Tactical Painter. What is the meaning of this? Here we go. Artillery markers for Tactical Painter. He plays a lot of chain of command in 20 millimeter. Well, I'm so miniature centric that I get excited about some people that do just the same scale, even if they're playing a different game. I played chain of command I once or twice, once for sure, and it was in 20 millimeter. Not with my figures; they already supplied them. I think once. I didn't play it a second time, not because it wasn't offered. It wasn't not that it was that bad. I mean, I think the vehicle combat's a bit generic for my taste, but that's something that's pretty easy to fix if you needed to. And Bear, Tactical Painter. Never heard of him. There's a lot of folks I don't hear about. Go Ace. 720. Hold on one second. This is probably going to buffer, I think. Okay, we're good. Well, on the way home from work, I ended up going by the UPS store and returned damn near everything I bought on Prime. On Prime Day. I ended up picking up a bunch of shirts and stuff because they're really inexpensive. Just to kind of hang out, t-shirt type stuff. They're just like super, super poor material. Super poor, like sandpaper poor. And they weren't like a brand I've never heard of before. They were just they don't make stuff like they used to. They don't make stuff like they used to. Right when it was rain a big old lightning storm too. At least we got some rain. We needed it. It kept threatening several days, and it was just all constipated. What armies does the base chain of command game come with, or does it even have TO and E? Well, that's if you're going to pay it for points and stuff. Every point system is broken in some way or another. It values things differently than you probably would. Maybe not everything, but several things. Like, oh, that's not a good value. I'd never have those. Well, if that's the case, then the game's, the value of those things are broken. Because everything should have a purpose. But if it's like, I can't think of a situation where I would use these guys, well, that kind of sucks because you're not experiencing all the different ways to play. I guess maybe a lot of people just don't care about that. They're like, oh, I only want to play one way. Oh, I want to play this. I only use the Super Space Marines. I don't use anybody else. Okay, so Bear is done. And these got to dry before we do the dry brushing on top of it. It's going to be a mess. And these also have to dry. So that's where we're going to stop for this evening, since we're kind of at a standstill. Except, well, let me check and see how my bricks are doing. They should be dry. The ones I did the other day. That means all the bricks will be done then. I don't know about all that. They're kind of moist. There's that M word. Some people did really well. Done Abenicia and Spanish Civil War free expansions. Oh, okay, hold on a second here. Late war Germans, Brits, Yanks, and Soviets. On their site, they released basic free ones for 1940s and Desert and Barbarossa. Isn't their website's one of those ones that's down, isn't it? Now, I haven't spent a lot of time on their website. I know that I did buy one of their supplements, the Wintergewitter one, just to see if there's like some magic information there that I didn't know about. And every time I do that, I'm always disappointed. I always think that, oh, these guys are making a rule set for this. They must be privy to some inside information I've never heard of before. No, not really. And they had that one glaring error I cut right off the bat. So glaring error if you're like a tank boy. Is that like a lady boy? Not at all. Lady boy. Is that like a man girl? No. Okay, so these bricks are pretty much ready to go, but these still have to finish drying. They're like soot covered and stuff, which is fine. These are actually a little darker than the other ones. They'll mix in fine with the bag of stuff. And this is what 16,000 bricks looks like. Yeah. The craft paint worked better than anything else. Panzer Sniffer, a tanky version of a nerd burglar. I don't know. Panzer Sniffer sounds like, I don't know. Sounds like a fetish. Where's he at? He's out sniffing panzers. Okay, folks. That's where we're going to stop for this evening. Happy Monday. Nobody says that. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye. Oh, that was down. The forum is the big loss, as there was a bunch of info on there. That sucks. Hopefully they can recover that. Okay, folks. Bye-bye.